Welcome to Lost Without Japan, a travel podcast about the life-changing experiences of exploring Japan and those moments we would be lost without. For your listening pleasure, allow me to introduce your very own Kanko Guido, Michael.
Welcome to Lost Without Japan. This is your director of travel for TKIC Studio Productions, coming to you with positive thoughts and excitement for your next journey to Japan. And I'd like to thank you for giving Maurice and myself a bit of your time today. And I really hope that today's discussion finds you in a good place or on the path to a better one. No matter how it may seem at this moment, and I know with myself, I was checking lotto tickets. I was telling Maurice before we even started the show, I am not able to move to Japan yet, but I'm going to keep a positive face about stuff, and we'll talk more about that later. But this bi weekly show is focused on getting you to Japan for your first visit to make your next adventure to Japan even better than its last. Today's special, celebratory collaborative interview is with Maurice, a guest, an honorary co-host, the man with the most, who recently returned from Japan. And not only did he return from Japan, he returned having part of that trip paid for. That's going to be something to go into too. But a quick shout out though, because he has a show, my friend. You're coming up this Friday, October 3rd. Would you like to share anything about that before we get rolling a little bit further, my friend?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. And my jet lag has not completely resolved itself, but it's getting there, close. But as far as the show coming up this Friday on October 3rd, it's a collaborative photography exhibit called Modern Magic. There was a photographer in my area named Sierra Kelly that I'd seen their work uh, repeatedly over the years, but I didn't know who this person was. But they'd obviously developed like their own kind of distinct style, visual kind of palette that is eye catching. Like you recognize their work immediately. And then there was a moment when I met them briefly at a camera swap meet, like at a club somewhere. And I said, "That's that person." I've always wanted to reach to this person. And I remember I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, do you still model?" And they said, "Not really. Only if the idea is good." And then we came up with a concept, and it just went well, so well. And Sierra is so open minded when it comes to creative visuals and just styling and accessories and wardrobe. They're firing on all cylinders. And so this idea came up that we would do a collaborative show because Sierra works primarily with like strobe photography, uh, femme, LGBTQ kind of friendly, drag, and kind of like in that area, traditional fashion. And I'm in a different realm. I'm more of like natural light, um, social commentary, critique. Someone described my work as like documentary style, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like I could see that in there as well. You know, cinema verite, kind of like fly on the wall, maybe. And so we came up with this idea of the show where we would take some of the same topics or themes and shoot them in my particular style, and then Sierra would shoot them in their particular style, and that's at the core of the show. But there's also some kind of peripheral stuff that from our archives or stuff we've done down the road. So it's a mix between new stuff and the stuff that people haven't seen. Maybe alternative shots from different sequences that we've shot. So I'm excited about it. My last show, the Akiko Formless Woman show, is from the same gallery. After that show was a success, they were like, please, if you got anything else, let us kind of host you again. Obviously, the last show I took very seriously, from the printing and framing to the design on the wall and just advertising. It was a big deal for me, and I think that they saw the effort that I put into that, and so they're been gracious to extend that opportunity again, and I'm not taking it for granted. So Modern Magic, It's a collaborative show. Myself, Sierra Kelly. It's going to be exciting, um, ambitious. I feel pretty good about it. And also, there are going to be some pieces that I feel are provocative, kind of conversation starters. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and it was a Continental Club, Greensboro,
Yes,
North Carolina.
yes.
Um, it's on Maurice's Instagram, which we'll include with this episode, and kind of roll on from there. But as we were talking, it's not necessarily Japan centric, but your career, buddy, is tied with the show. You know what I mean? I'm like, we're connected in that way, and I honestly don't care what you're doing. I want to talk to you about it because it's been huge. It's been huge. Before we get going, my friends, if you've listened to me recently, a lot of times we'll kind of joke around about sponsors, right? And just have some fun with it because eventually one day, like somebody's going to reach out to us and say, here's the money. But till that point in time, even from 4 years ago when I started, I wanted to promote people that I cared about, which kind of like carries to today with talking to Maurice today. But one of those is the Maple Lopo Japanese Verb Masterclass. And they have a discount for listeners of the show, which is normally just for like Jet members, but it's a $200 course, brought down to $70 just by using our link. And the nice part about it is that it takes the complexity of learning like the Japanese verbs and tenses and all that stuff that is a big trip up for people, like the grammar, like the foundation of Japan, and puts it into a way that's actually how the Japanese learn it. Because like anybody that's kind of gone through your Genki books and other stuff, like you'll kind of try to talk to somebody in Japan and say, "What am I doing wrong?" And you're talking from a book that's doing things backwards. So they're not understanding what's going on. You're like, "I've been spending 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is, studying. Why don't you understand what's going on?" But this was made with his wife, and she has a huge presence in this, and it's really a lot of support. You have videos, you have Discord, you have this course that you can go back to again and again. You can buy it now, and if your life, like Maurice, is way too busy to do it, if you get it now, you can access it anytime. So even though this offer ends on December 31st, 2025, I would ask for you to really consider investing upon yourself. And even if it's not now, invest in yourself and take advantage of this later. You're worth it. I'm not getting any money from this. I just want to support a couple that are some amazing people doing some amazing things. And if they're successful in this, my friends, they are going to continue to do more, uh, and offer more to us. And it really is just in a way more logical way than you've seen in the past, at least for me, and I think for other people that are out there. So Maple Lopo or Maple Opo, as they say, I'll put the link for that is there, but please take advantage of it. We'll kind of go from there. Maurice has just gotten back, like he said, from Japan, and he is still recovering, like he said, from jet lag. And I'm still recovering from having a tooth ripped out of my mouth and a bone graft put in. And none of that was fun, in any way, shape, or form, nor the potential $4,000 in dental bills, my friend.
Ooh.
It is that's like my daughters and I's pretty much our airfare to Japan. So that's not fantastic, but still keeping positives, and there are some positives that I just want to shout out here real quick before we get going real quick. Number one, I want to say I really hope that this is going to be a 4K release, and I'm sure it will be at some point. But there's been some movie releases from Japan that have made 4K release splashes here through different releases, but I don't see like a physical 4K. And I really hope that Battle Royale's 4K return to theaters. I'll put a link to it there. It's Iconic Releasings is who the tickets are through. It's like October 12th, 13th, and like 15th. It's something around that way here. It's all nighttime shows. It's like single time shows. See if something's nearby. Um, like I said, I hope they do a physical release, but just in case they don't, man, you can't miss seeing this in theaters. You really can't. Again, no sponsor. Look at all this great stuff we're doing. And then after all of that, I just want to say, Maurice, that man, I see what you're doing. I listen to your posts. I know you're doing like you've been talking to like a career, you know, someone to help you with your career counselor, things like that. And I really see it in what you're doing, your drive that you have, everything that you're throwing into what you're doing. And I want to say, like, I felt like a reinvigorated by being in a new situation with my job, and that's kind of shown into what I've been trying to do with the show. But then seeing you continue to do all that you're doing and kind of reaping the benefits of the like large amount of hard work that you're putting in has like pushed me to want to do even more, my man. And I consider myself lucky to get to know you when we have and continue to get to know you. And thank you for what you're doing, because it's impacting more than you realize, my friend. So I'll hand it over to you now, and you can talk about your trip, talk about what you did, how you got there, like whatever you want to cover, my friend. If you want to, I know you like to kind of limit anything about upcoming books and things like that. That's cool. I'm sure you can still share a lot of cool things that happened to you while you're there, but the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, and I really appreciate the kind words. And a lot of the kind words and gestures, the feeling was mutual. Likewise, because I know that you've been doing this for some years now, and consistently, reliably, and the quality has never dipped. So, if anything, you're kind of an inspiration for me, because at the end of the day, and it exists in what I'm doing too. In order for there to be the output, you've got to sit down and do it.
Yep.
And you've demonstrated that for years, week after week after week, of just sitting down and knocking at the work. So this vast library that you've accumulated for your podcast, it exists because you sat down and you did the work. There's no other way around that, right? So that's something I really admire about you, and it's an inspiration to me. I want to cut back to something not super serious, but still very serious. Is Battle Royale. um, the first time I saw that, I was in college. So it's like the 25th anniversary at this point now.
Yeah.
So I was in college. This was a little over 20 years ago. And my mom had purchased me a bootleg from Hong Kong on DVD. And the DVD had all sorts of like grammatical errors on the cover because it was a bootleg.
Yeah.
And I remember I took it to college with me. And I remember just being floored by this film. And uh, I remember trying to show it to some friends. We were at a party, and I said, "This is one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever seen in my life. You got to watch it." And someone was like, "What's it about?" And I said, "They take these kids and they put them on an island, and they have to kill each other." And I remember someone said to me, like, "Why would I watch that? What's wrong with you?" And it was like these people were just like disgusted by this idea of this movie. And
Yep.
then shortly thereafter that, Hunger Games came out, and Hunger Games became like this worldwide phenomenon of kids being put on an island, killing each other. And I still remember just being like shouted down because of Battle Royale. But then shortly thereafter, you know, these books came out. Well, not books, but the adaptation of these books came out, and there's a lot of similarities between that and Hunger Games and Battle Royale, and was a phenomenon, just unstoppable juggernaut for several years. And I just remember people being like, "Why would I watch that?" And then it goes on to make probably in excess of billions of dollars across the franchise, which was really funny. But so I had like this weird this small like twinge of like hatred of that response, that initial reaction I got to that movie way back when I was like 20 years old or something like that. Uh, People were not about it, but then it came about because I think that after the Hunger Games became like this thing, then it was like, oh, this is there's that. Then people were saying there's a Japanese version of Hunger Games, which is incorrect. That's
A
not the
hundred
way.
percent, 100
Yeah, that's
percent.
incorrect. And then I remember certain stores like Hot Topic around where I live at were bringing over kind of, I don't know if they're bootleg versions, but like some sketchy versions that could play on our region DVD players. So people were slowly becoming aware of Battle Royale, and it became like this kind of online phenomenon. People were watching clips of it at school and stuff, and it was just very odd how like Battle Royale was first, then Hunger Games, at least in the movie sphere. I don't know about the source materials for either one of them, but as far as movies goes, Battle Royale, then Hunger Games, and then it was like Battle Royale came back around again to
Yeah,
like being more well known, and it was improperly attributed to the Hunger Games, which is weird, and but that was a
it
huge
was.
thing.
Yeah, it was
Um,
released in 2000,
right.
right? And I remember seeing it, and that movie to me hit me in the same way that Reservoir Dogs did. Two completely different movies, but in the way that both movies put something out there that I just hit me so hard because it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. And seeing Tarantino and how he did Reservoir Dogs and how that movie happened left me like leaving that theater questioning everything I'd ever seen before. And just like, I'm like, movies can be like this. Like, I'm like, this was, amazing. And then to
Mhm.
see Battle Royale, and I did that same thing when people would ask me what it was. My friends would ask me what it was. I would just say, "You got to watch it." Like I can't explain to you what this movie's about without ruining it. So you just need to sit down and watch it. And I had some friends that were like me that were like floored. This is amazing. This is great. And then I had the same people that had the same response though that you ran into, Maurice, where they would start watching this thing and they're like, "I can't watch this." And I get it, different people, different strokes for different folks, but both of those movies were like just like leave you going like this was like a monumental to me like movie to come across. It was just
Mhm.
amazing, amazing.
You mentioned Reservoir Dogs, and I'm gonna nitpick at you for a second
Please do.
here. You need to see City on Fire.
I saw City on Fire for Fat or for
Chow Yun Fat?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen
Yeah.
City on Fire. Yeah.
Okay, because me personally, I'm gonna be an asshole.
Be away. Be away,
I'm
buddy.
not a huge fan of of Reservoir Dogs, but I do
Yep.
like City on Fire.
I,
Um,
I, you know, all
and
the
I think that
digital
there's some
releases.
similarities.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's interesting. Tarantino, because I did go to film school, Tarantino was like this revered filmmaker. He's very talented. I don't like a big bulk of his filmography. It's just not for me. However, uh, save for the last 15 or 20 minutes or so, I think, and I just got to hand it to him, I think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is
Yeah.
one of the best movies ever made. I remember being completely floored in the theater. I'm like, as a guy who had watched Tarantino stuff, because he is a premier kind of like, he's one of the people that you watch when you're into film. And as someone who watched him mostly for kind of like, I'm not going to say research purposes, but just to be aware of this film landscape and not connecting with a lot of it. I just remember being in the theater and seeing that opening night and just being awestruck. I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow, this not only is a film excellent, but it's very clear that this is from a person who loves cinema in
Yep.
every aspect of it. And the love that came through in that film is undeniable, and I consider it a crowning achievement. Everyone's performances, Brad Pitt, Leo, Margot Robbie, I believe, is in it. Just everyone just does an amazing job. Al Pacino does a great job. It's just it's stellar. It's so
Yeah.
good. Anyway,
No, and I get it, and I think I can see where you're coming from, my friend. But I hit because I had Reservoir Dogs back in like I want to say it's like 90 whatever it was. If it's
Mhm,
96, like it's early, right? And I
mhm,
didn't come across Chow Yun Fat's movies till after I saw that, like Bullet in the Head, The Killers, like all those different things. That was after. And a
Right,
lot
right,
of
right.
those movies I discovered were from Hollywood Boulevard, the rental place, like Blockbuster. But
Oh.
Hollywood Boulevard always had the like Hong Kong movies that you could buy that you couldn't really get at the time anywhere else. Like you couldn't
Mhm.
go, to Suncoast, you couldn't go to a bunch of different places. Like this is where you get it. And it was like I remember buying like A Better Tomorrow, like one and
Oh.
two there, like and all those. We'll have to have just to sit down and talk about, like Hong Kong action flicks, buddy. But I found all of those, and those have a soft space in my heart. And the fact that they're all coming back out with like digital releases again of stuff, and I just want to see the physicals so I can own them because I feel like they'll be taken away again at some point in time. But oh man, we were sitting there with my son. We'll get back. I promise everyone listening, we'll get back to Japan. But we were sitting there, and they're in the restaurant, and everybody has those bird cages, right? And that whole restaurant is nothing but like guns that have been hidden like in the salt shaker and like like everything that's around underneath tables, everything. It's just like this huge shootout, and my son was just loving life, but he's just like, this is like so over the top ridiculous, like as he's sliding down the you know sliding down the staircase like banister, toothpick in hand, just like going through it. I'm like, so this is peak cinema, buddy. Peak cinema. You better
Yeah.
respect.
The combination of like 80s, 90s John Woo and Chow
Yeah.
Yun Fat is ridiculous. Like I really can't describe a duo like that who hit me like that. Like it was just a perfect time. And it's interesting because like uh, you caught Tarantino first, and then the Hong Kong stuff. My mom was bootlegging Hong Kong films from like middle school when I was like in middle school. So we were just
Okay.
like getting the movies in the mail from Hong Kong on eBay or whatever. And
Your
so
mom is
I caught
wonderful, buddy.
those movies first. And then I got into Tarantino
Yep.
um, in film school. So I was 18, 19 when I started becoming aware of Tarantino. And so I was like, whoa, this dude really likes this Hong Kong cinema stuff.
Yes.
But for a lot of people, hadn't seen them. So it was always like, hey, look, the same thing with like Battle Royale. It's like
Yep.
you saw the people saw like the Western kind of idea first, and then they went and saw like the Asian or the Japanese version or the Japanese take on a similar idea.
Yes.
Um, and it's just either way, if it's getting people to watch good movies, that's all that really matters. But to go back and I'll end this because I know I just took us on a completely different tangent. Um,
That's why I love you, my brother. That's why I love you, because we could just.
I
I
want
could start. I could start talking about Linda as well, and missing out on that theatrical release, which upset me like nobody's business. But yes, sorry. Let's. I'll let you keep going, buddy.
but I think that with a lot of these 4K re-releases in theaters, I think that is the pipeline to the 4K releases because I want to say that there was a 4K release in theaters, a brief event of Paprika, and then that 4K disc did come out a couple years ago. I want to say that there's going to be a 4K release of Perfect Blue in theaters,
Yep,
um, and so I believe that a Perfect Blue is going to come out
it is. It is.
soon. Um, and then it only makes sense. You'd be stupid not to release Battle Royale on 4K. Like it's just like a
Pr- print money.
it wouldn't make any sense not to. So I'm hoping that that's the case, and it'll
It's
follow suit with so many other major releases.
starting
And
October 3rd, buddy. Starting October 3rd for Perfect Blue.
October, man,
So,
that's soon.
son of a gun, why'd they throw everything into October? They're killing me because then I get like that's unfortunately, buddy, that's Friday.
Yeah, I
So
gotta write that down.
maybe you just need to like skip your photo exhibit and like, just be like, sorry, I can't be there. My photos are there, but like I had something come up.
Yeah,
Uh
sorry, guys.
you know,
Uh, Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to write that down right now because, um,
because that's another great like and I caught like everything that not like as you're writing things down, like I caught everything that Tarantino did in theater as it was coming out. And
mhm.
man, that like I think like when you come into things truly, so Fandango, my friend, Fandango. It looks like it's the second through the let's just say, yeah. We'll look as you're talking. I'll kind of get some more information for us, but it looks like it starts Thursday, which wouldn't necessarily work for you. But yeah, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So through it looks like October 9th. There are dates and stuff like that for Perfect Blue, my friend.
I can figure something out. Um, I can definitely figure something out. Okay, so wow, that's coming up soon. Wow. Okay, where are we at now?
You were in Japan and you're back, buddy. Let's get us
Oh
because
yeah,
we're gonna have
yeah.
links coming out, for stuff. And man, again, Linda, I'm so upset right now. That I missed that in theaters. You got to stay on top of this stuff. So
So Japan. So first off, let me talk about my flight over there. So uh, I as many times as I've flown to Japan, and it's always kind of funny. Like whenever someone like is looking at my passport, they like flip through all like the Japan stamps. They're like, oh, like you really doing this Japan thing, huh? And I'm like, okay. But I've never gotten used to the flight. The flight is long. The flight is always going to be long. I don't know people who just. I know of a gentleman uh, who works in Japan, probably lives there half the year, um, and he probably flies to Japan 2, 3 times a month, and he just does the flight. It's for work, so you know, and he's
hopefully
doing
business
well for
class.
himself. Yeah, but he's just like he. It's like this guy just like eats these flights. So I don't know how to do it, but anyway. So I'm getting in there, and like a bum, I didn't pick my seat. The way that United works now, like
It's
you can
horrible.
pick it later on, or you can whatever. I just didn't pick it, so I got unlucky with like a middle seat, and it was like a full flight, and so this couple comes, and they're a married couple, and they're on either side of me, and I'm like, "Are you together?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I turned to the husband because the wife is like doing something, and I said, "Do you want to sit with your wife?" He goes, "Nope."
Yep.
And they sit on either side of me, and this guy does not speak to his wife for the entire flight, like 14 hours. This guy does not even like look at his wife. And but I'm thinking, the middle seat sucks because you got to get up, right?
Yep.
Um, but here's the thing. Here's a kicker. My flight over there, while long, it wasn't that bad because this dude, I don't know what kind of X-Men superpowers this guy has. He did not get up on that flight once. He didn't stand up once. Didn't go to the bathroom at all. This dude
Big.
sat for 14 hours. It wasn't, and even when we were like getting off the plane, he didn't seem like he was in a rush either. I'm like, what kind of Superman is this dude?
How do I get this power?
Right? He he just sat there, and he didn't watch too many movies. I slept a little bit, but not a lot. I think he watched The Hobbit maybe for a little
Okay.
bit. That was kind of cool because I kind of like like you peek and watch what someone else is watching.
Oh yeah.
Um, uh, and that was kind of cool. But no, he didn't get up once. It was wild to me, absolutely wild to me. Um, Nice couple, but it was so odd how like they did not speak or interact at all. 14 hours, and he did not get up. His wife got up several times, because you got to get up and walk around. Even I did that, but
Oh
him,
yeah.
he was just like, nope. It was impressive. I've never seen that before, ever,
Because
not once in my entire life. I've probably flown internationally at this point over a dozen times, well over a
yeah.
dozen times, and I have never seen someone not get up on a long haul flight. Never. There we
Because
go.
because if I was coupling it, man, I could see doing like an aisle seat, right? And then the aisle seat across from the aisle seat, so you're not necessarily sitting side by side with each other, but you're like, right across the way you can both get there. But man, I can't. The window to me is like the thing of horror and like my nightmares, because I'm not the person that sits once during the flight. You don't want me in the middle of your thing. You don't want me by the window of you. You want me on the aisle.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Because I'm thinking, it gets to like hour 5. I'm like, this guy's gonna get up, and he did 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm like, 10. This guy's got to get up. So I'm like bracing myself for it. 11, 12, and then it gets to like, oh, we're landing in 2 hours, and I'm like, does this guy not want to use the bathroom before we get to the airport? Because after you land in Japan, the walk to customs,
Customs.
and
Yeah.
it's long, and I'm thinking this guy surely he needs to go take a whiz or something before all that. Nope, he he just handled it. He handled himself. It was wild. Yeah, it was something else. But moving on beyond that, it's still hot in September. Here I'm thinking, oh, it's starting to get closer to fall. Little breezy, sunny, breezy days, cloud coverage. Nah, son, it was hot, muggy, humid the entire time in Tokyo. The one thing, though, I will say this though, that I kind of got a break from that is because this time around I was in Chiba, and and when I say Chiba, it's not like deep in Chiba. It was like near Tokyo Bay where
Yeah.
Disney was. So
Yeah.
Disneyland and Disney Sea. So that part of Chiba, about a 50-minute ride into central Tokyo on the train. So lengthy, but not impossible. Like I have some friends who live there. Like, oh yeah, my commute every day is an hour and a half. No, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So but I felt it. I definitely had to plan for when I wanted to just go into Tokyo to go do some stuff. But um, I am not a Disney person. I've never had real interest in Disney. I went with my parents when I was in third grade. When I was a child, that was fun, but I've never had any kind of desire to return. That being said, though, seeing the Disney adults on it, like the Disney adults, like
Yeah.
the real intense people on a daily basis at the hotel, uh, was kind of cute. It was
Yeah.
kind of cute. Because in the area that I was at, it felt almost like a Western city. There were palm trees around. There was like greenery at the streets. It wasn't really walkable in the same way that most of Tokyo is. A lot of like Western architecture. It was almost like the hotels were specifically there to serve the Disney community and make them feel at home. There were shuttles everywhere, so you really didn't have to walk. It was very odd. It was like Japan, but not. It was like Florida, but not. It was a very strange place, very accommodating, very quiet, very chill. There was seating outside, outdoors, like every 30
Never.
or
Yeah.
40 feet, which you don't
No.
see in
No. Yeah.
Tokyo. Like,
No.
it was like there's benches everywhere and people are sitting down, and it was odd. But right at the bay, because the hotel was like a 2-minute walk from the bay, the water was beautiful, and the air, and you'd smell the water. It was just wonderful, and everyone had their little dogs walking around, and people were out there exercising by the water and fishing. The old dudes are like fishing by like 6 o'clock in the morning, if not earlier than that. That was really cool. It was like a slow start to the day every day, and I've never had that kind of experience in Japan before. Um, and like I say that as someone who didn't go to Disney at all, but it was very refreshing to have that different outlook. I will say this though, for someone who's even remotely into Disney, it's a really cool place. That being said, though, I think that for people who want to stay out there, it's like, is your vacation centered around Disney?
Yes.
Because you want to be there. If your vacation is not for Disney, it's so far out from central Tokyo, or at least a 50-minute train ride.
Yeah.
You really should be kind of like weighing like, oh, do I want to be that far out? Um, it's very interesting because even on the streets, like up the street from my hotel was like Domino's, Burger King, McDonald's. Like
It's
it
not
was a
Japan. You're like at the
oh,
end. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like there were no like convenies like right by the hotels. There was a convenie in a hotel next door, but there were very few freestanding convenies around. That was a big shift away from central Tokyo. So that was interesting. Um, But yeah, it was a good time, and seeing people really excited about Disney, seeing people who are clearly bringing their children to Disney for the very first time, you feel the energy off them, and it's very heartwarming.
It's awesome, man. I did do the when I first went back like by myself, I did that 50-minute trek from outside Tokyo in every single day. And if you missed the wrong train, it did become that hour plus. Like when you because you have to wait at a station for another train to come, and it got old quick. And then having to cut your time short when you're downtown because you're like the train stop, and then when it stops I am still a huge distance away from where I need to be by taxi. Yeah, so yeah, that's one of those things I did, and I'm like, yeah. That's it's its own experience, buddy.
You're being kind. You're being kind. And but that's a thing that people need to know. If you have a particular focus for what you want to do in Tokyo or while you're in Japan, Tokyo is such a large city that
Yes.
people should be taking into account. Like look on the Google map. Like the things that you want to do, time it out. You can do that on Google Maps for how
Yep.
long it's going to take you to get there. And I think that that's something that it's a rookie mistake if you
Wait,
don't do that.
it is because like you have some people that are like, I'm going to stay in Shinjuku, right? Or I'm going to stay wherever because it's like this big name place. But then when you actually start seeing what you want to do, you're nowhere near where you want to be, and then you're
Right.
suddenly having to travel minimum 30 minutes to get somewhere or more, and you're like, well, I'm kind of in a cool spot but not by what you want to do. No, that's a good point, my friend. And
Mm-hmm.
David was talking about this. It'll be in an episode coming up. He was talking about driving. Him and his partner got a car, and they actually drove from Tokyo, and went different places. And he said went way better than what he thought it would, and how easy the Toyota rental was, that they put everything. The GPS was even better than Google Maps. They set it to English for him. Like the whole experience for him was just very positive. And it made me wonder, kind of when you think about like planning your trip, I might be looking into some driving myself with my daughter, not necessarily through Tokyo, but like leaving Tokyo, or leaving other places to go from place to place, because the Shinkansen prices have gone up. Your passes have gone up, and if you could, if you're not rushed for time, because when my daughter and I go, we're probably going to do for 3 weeks, right? So it's not like we're going to be, we're not going to have excess time, but hopefully we can enjoy our time. And for some of the places in between, why not? You know what I mean? Like actually stop, see some places. He was talking about going to a truck stop, or just seeing places in between that you wouldn't see on the train otherwise. All things that he gave me, like you are now, like, a lot to think about. And I was like, buddy, you're making this even, seem, I mean, just, it's just unfortunate because we drive on the right side of the road and he drives on the wrong side. So for him, it was, just like, just hop into the car like every day, everybody's business. Like I'm just off and running. It would not be that way for us, but I feel like you could get it down pretty quick.
Yeah, I've heard that with the international driver's license, which are not difficult to get. Um, I think it's like $50 at
Yeah,
AAA or something like
that's it.
that. And then you just hop over there, you just do it, which is pretty cool. I've also heard that renting a car is extremely easy in Japan, and it's affordable.
Yeah.
Um, like if you get like a little a little putter, a little sedan, I've heard that it's very affordable, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I would look into that next time, because I'm going to segue into the fact that I did do a project here. It's untitled. I'm going to keep it kind of secret, but this was the first time where the work I had so much work to do with this project, and a lot of it was geography dependent, like locations that we rented. Um, Going through Tokyo with camera gear and cameras and lights and wardrobe, uh, it became a different beast. So I just want to reiterate to people, like if you know where you have to be, make sure your accommodations are close by or at least convenient, because like you mentioned, like, hey, I had to cut things short because at the end of the night the train's going to stop. There were times when I had my camera bag with me and I carry that everywhere, and I'm like, man, I wish I could stay out late and kind of like goof around or whatever. But I had to get back to dump my cards or back up stuff, or I just don't want to carry this camera bag anymore. So
Yeah.
I had to, take that into account into that calculus of, location, time. What do I want to do with this? Am I going to use a luggage container or like a storage locker in the train? Because I did
Yeah.
that. That was a few things that I started doing. Because typically I don't do that. I wouldn't have to because I'm so close to my hotel. But this time the hotel's a bit away. I still want to do stuff. I want to carry a bag, so make sure I have at least enough money on my Suica card or some coins to get a storage locker. So that's another thing, but that's convenient. They have those at almost every single station everywhere. So if you're also someone who has a lot of stuff on you, you don't want to carry it around all day, there's
Dump it.
that too, which is cool. Those came in handy. Those things are clutch, man. If you just have like a little bag of, measly 300 yen, if you have a big bag or a lot of stuff, 600 yen, still very affordable. It's very, very cool. Um, very, very nice. Yeah, yeah. Those came in quite handy. But I guess the moral of the story is look at where you want to be, and then book your hotel accordingly. That's very important.
Love it, buddy. Did you bring any? I'm, living vicariously through you as someone who took photography but didn't do much with it. Like I enjoy taking it, but did you do anything different with your cameras as far as like stuff that you brought? Did you bring anything new with you for
Oh,
what you were doing?
yes, I did. I bought a new macro photography lens. It's 105 millimeter. Um, it has, for me personally, and how I shoot, it has like a single use case, and that's just really shallow focus, hyper detailed, little small slivers of focus, like super high end macro stuff. I love it, and it gave a much more intimate, close up feeling to a lot of my work that I typically don't get. So I think that whenever people see this new work that's coming out, probably some first quarter, oh, excuse me, first quarter of the year, I'll probably start rolling that out. Um, it feels a lot more intense, in your face, closer to you. Um, so I hope people dig it and kind of recognize the energy. I'm so excited about it. It's weird, and this I feel good about it now. It was not good at the time, but when one day when I was carrying my bag around much longer than I should have, I put my camera in the bag without turning it off. Um, and I guess I had a little bag, a little tote bag from Uniqlo, and I'm sure I was pressing buttons and not knowing it, and somehow I the camera died because it was on and I was probably pressing buttons, and I guess with some SD cards, if it the camera just turns off, it feels like, or I guess the camera reads it as like a abrupt ejection, or like,
Yeah,
so I guess it
error.
doesn't save the file directory correctly. And so I remember, I turn on the camera and it goes, the card is corrupt or the card is inaccessible.
You're
And
like,
I'd shot like,
what?
yeah, I'd shot like 2,700 photos on it because I shoot a lot. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is a huge chunk of the project. But so that's another thing. If you're tired and you're making mistakes with your gear, put that thing in a locker somewhere, man. Just stop. I was able to get back home and get all the files back, but there was a little spicy there for a bit.
Buddy, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I was a little tense. But that being said, though, because I thought that I had lost a good chunk of the project, I forced myself to go out and shoot more. So now that I have the original photos and then some, I have a lot more room to really create a kind of unique kind of like visual palette of this project. Um, it forced me to go and do Sunshine 60, the observatory in Sunshine City, at night. I didn't do that beforehand, and it looks gorgeous. Have you ever been to Sunshine City?
I've been through there, but I've not done like much in it. It was more like kind of quickly through. So I'll be
Oh,
interested to see, buddy.
oh hell yeah! It's awesome, and the observatory is only like 700 yen. It's like pennies. It's like 700 yen is like $4 or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. It's nothing. as opposed to because I was hanging out with someone and we met up and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to like Skytree or whatever." She said, "Don't go to Skytree." She goes, "Go to the observatory in Sunshine City." She goes, "It's cheaper and the windows are cleaner." And I was like, "Okay, okay."
Pro
Uh,
hack.
yes. So I don't remember exactly what Skytree costs or Shibuya Sky, but they're
It's
not
like close to
700
30
yen.
bucks, at
Yes.
least last one
So
I was like, it's it's definitely more. And I'm excited to hear because buddy, like I already had connection with the photos that you had, and that was one thing I know we've talked about before. So like I was getting goosebumps just a little bit because like that was one thing I took from the photos that you did was like, it felt like they were mine. And they're
mm,
not.
mm,
I
mm.
said, but they felt like they're mine. And I was looking through these photos, of what was going on, and I was just like, like this is something that you experience yourself. So man,
Right.
I'm ready to I'm ready for it to be quarter one, baby. Let's move this on. Not
No,
only because I
let
could
me
be on
see
winter
if
break, but like, yeah, I'm ready.
let me see if I can bring up something real quick. Let me see if I can just drop in something for you to look at real quick.
Do you have like are you going to be doing? Do you feel like a potentially at the same venue, like a release for your book, like photos potentially for it?
I don't know yet. It's a good question. That's a very good question. I think with this situation being a little different because there is someone's independent kind of financial interest this time around.
Yes,
There
yes.
is a bit of like, what is the proper way to do this?
Like
Um,
post his money back or something.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
yeah. Because man,
these
I'd start saving now because I'm like I can't figure that like flights to you in like February are going to be too like too outrageous from Chicago. It's not
right.
like either one of us are going.
And I sent you over a few shots from this 105 in your Instagram if you can see that. But yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out.
Dude.
But the observatory was so cool, man. Like I can't stress how awesome it was. It was really freaking cool. Um, and I'll send you one more. And like I said, there's one more.
God, yeah, man. This is amazing and makes fantastic audio. You guys are missing out. Let me tell you right now.
My bad.
No,
My bad.
this is no. This is all for me right now, Maurice. This is,
But no,
sorry, you should have started your own podcast over 4 years ago, and you could be sitting with Maurice right now. So like
but no, it
I'm
was
loving
a
this,
really
my
cool
man.
process, and the 105 lens. Obviously, I love it. I adore it. It really gave me like a different thought process for how to capture my ideas, and
Yeah.
it was just really freaking cool. And you know,
For me these like one of your photos in particular, the first one you sent has that like buddy, the macro shot, never mind, but that buddy buddy, wow, that's
it's
amazing.
cool.
That is so cool. So but like and I hate like in some ways like you're comparing things, but just loss in translation is huge to me. It's huge to a lot of us that are of certain ages and into Japan. But anytime like Scarlett, that scene where she's there looking out onto Tokyo with her Bose headphones that I have in my closet that really serve no purpose now except for me to have them. I'm gonna work that out to actually wearing them, getting some photos and stuff like that to just really geek out. But whenever you get that view that you're getting from looking out onto the city in that way, it's just like, it really does like force you to look at things different ways. And man, like the second one that you had where you kind of have like a crossing and stuff like that
hmm
looking down into the buildings and the top of the buildings, anytime you see things that you can't normally see, you know what I mean, from
hmm
the street side that people normally do as they're going around,
hmm
buddy, it's going to be exciting, and I can't wait, buddy, to promote the book with you and everything that you're doing because man, if I had I'd already be happy. You wouldn't even have to show me anything else if I was the I'd just be like,
No,
cool. I got my money back.
yeah, it was a cool process, man. You know, being able to slow down and kind of think about the creative process. And one thing that was really cool is I got to shout out Stephanie Hayashi. Um, I know you know Stephanie Kramer, but there's two Stephanies that helped out this time around. They both helped out last time as well. But Stephanie Hayashi, she's Japanese citizen. So she's also kind of like a producer, model slash photographer herself, creative graphic designer. She's a jack of all trades. Um, but I wanted to expand into different locations. And Stephanie's like, well, we have Space Market here. Space Market is similar, I guess, to say Airbnb or Peerspace or Verbo. But for Space Market in Japan, you have to have Japanese accounts. You have to have a Japanese bank account, Japanese cards. And so for Americans, that's like, or just other foreigners, it's like you're completely cut out of this process of being able
Yep.
to rent locations. But Stephanie was able to like, hey, look, what do you think about this, and this, and this? I said, I like this. I said, let me know how much it costs. I set up Wise, and I just like was like, hey, let's rent this. Here's the money. Let's rent this. Here's the money. And so going through that process and having someone on the ground on the inside who could give me access to these locations, it really did absolutely explode the kind of production value of this thing. You know, these different locations. She she created this bubble for I could just be creative. Like
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, I was like paying for everything. That's fine. But Stephanie really took her job so seriously. Like, hey, look, this guy's hiring me. He wants me to handle the locations and kind of dealing with like the some of the smaller logistics when it comes to the talent. Let me just allow him to just do his thing. And so Stephanie was a godsend. Stephanie Kramer as well. She helped out with some stuff. I used her location again. She was completely accommodating, very convenient to the production. Um, Let me use her space all day. Really just got some really, really cool, kind of like intimate, very personal looking stuff that makes it feel the project feels very lived in. It feels very like these are people's lives. Um, Not just like a street photography or a photo session or a photo shoot outdoors. There's so much visual variety, both exteriors and interiors in this project that I feel like a lot of people are going to recognize that we really have stepped up our game almost on every level. It's very freaking cool. I really can't speak to it enough. And hopefully, when I start piecing it together and people check it out, they're like, "Oh wow, this is what this guy was doing. He really is like not just talking out of his butt. He's putting his money where his mouth is."
And you can tell that, my friend, even without seeing like what you're doing. I can see that energy in like what you're putting out, my man. And like I said, in its own way, like you've got me to be where like both of us aren't very active on our Instagram pages, for promotion and stuff like that. And I've been putting stuff out daily now, just from like the magazines and stuff that I'm kind of using for research for like day trips, but trying to be more engaging. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's pushing me to where like maybe I could start recording like little snippets of audio for stuff that I'm putting out. You know what I mean? Like just anything to push to get out to more people because you have something to offer, my friend, and it's like it's been fantastic, and I'm already was already excited because of knowing you, but now it's like, yeah, let's go, buddy, let's go.
No, it's gonna be cool, and I got to give a shout out. I'm not going to name his name, but I have to give a shout out to the supporter of this particular project who reached out to me and was like, "Hey, look, how can I get on board and help you to create more of what you want to create?" And I said, "Hey, look, I have this idea coming up," and he was like, "Hey, could I provide this or could I do this for you?" No creative interference, no suggestions that are really mandates or requirements. He didn't have any of that stuff. He really just said, "Hey, look, I want to allow you or give you access to some of my resources to help you keep doing what you're doing." And because this project wouldn't have happened so soon, you know, um,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know when it would have happened, but it wouldn't have happened now. with their generous contribution, it was able to just go and happen, and I'm back with it, and after my show ends and fulfill that, because I'm excited about that too. So it's interesting, like, to be like juggling two projects at the same time. One that's coming to it, like, one that's ready to be unveiled, and then one that needs to be kind of crafted and shaped. To be at both the beginning and the end of two different projects that I feel so strongly about is kind of a weird thing. It's like I feel stretched thin in like the best possible way. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it quite a bit, and um, having good people around you like yourself. If someone out here is listening and they're creative, um, please, surround yourself with people that really want to see you grow and see you win, and that want to help you continue to do the things that you love to do, because people do want to see people be happy. People do want to see people create the things that they want to see in the world. um, it's letting people in. Don't be afraid to kind of bear what you've got going on, to let people, let them know that if they want to be a part of it. It's like, and they can't know that if you don't tell them, right?
No,
So
it's 100%. And I think, like you said, surrounding yourself by people that are striving to do that similar thing in a creative way, pushes you, pushes them,
mhm.
and you feed off that. Because otherwise, I'm like, we all have different friend groups for different things, and like different stuff that's there. But having that creative outlet, and support and stuff, it's huge, man. It does.
It's
It's
absolutely huge, and I would not be here in the middle of not only a show about to come out this Friday, and then another project that I'm be creating for next year. I would not be here if it weren't for being vocal and being open and letting my ideas get out there. People kind of reverberate off that they get energized off that energy. So keep it up. If it's in your life, don't hide it. If anything, do what you can to amplify it, and the right people will come around.
100%, my friend. 100%. What else would you like to share, my friend, about your time in Japan besides going out of your way to make my daughter's day?
Oh yeah, by
Like
the way, I should get there tomorrow. I just checked the USPS tracking thing. It should get there tomorrow.
see,
Um,
you made connections, and like had people help out, and you went all
no,
out, buddy. You went all out, my friend.
originally, yeah, originally UPS was like, oh, Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, and now it's saying Monday. So hopefully your daughter likes it. I tucked in a little something for you. Hopefully you like it. Um, I'm excited. I sent out some other gifts to some other people. Um, it was a cool trip because I bought so many gotcha this time around. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I said I bought like 60 gotcha. I bought like 60. I gave a ton of them away. But oh, okay. So
That almost be like a whole book, buddy. You
yeah.
could have like a gotcha photo book. Pull
Oh
out those macro
man.
lenses, then, buddy.
Oh man. So I'm gonna share a deep cut here for a second. All right. So there was a gotcha that I saw online. Um, it was like a capsule hotel. It was like a gotcha of like little hotel rooms.
That's
And
awesome.
I did not see that machine anywhere. I was like, because it's a thing. There's a huge thing online where like you get like Japan content where some influencers like this is mega popular, and you get there and it's not. Like no one gives a crap about it,
Yeah,
or it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
in one random spot. So I'm thinking, oh well, maybe this is just influencer stuff where someone said it's popular and it's really not. And so I get there and I look around for this machine. I don't see it anywhere, but I saw it in Ikebukuro, and here it is, like this little set of like a hotel front desk, a hotel bathroom, a hotel dresser with a TV on it, and a hotel bed. And I just fell in love with them, and I probably bought like 15 of them to get the entire set. They are so generous with the front desk. They give you so many front desks, but the bed took forever to get. But I remember I was in Gashiko or something like that. I can't remember the name, but it was a Ikebukuro gacha place where it's like It had like 500 machines on one floor and then 1,000 machines in the basement. So it was like 1,500 gotcha machines in there, and I'm just like, it was cool. But I got the whole set. That was awesome. This is another kind of joke secret thing, but I was supposed to go on a date with someone while I was there, and we were supposed to meet up because schedules are hard to keep because everyone works and I'm working, and so uh, she sends me a message. She goes, "Oh, I think I have a stomach bug," and I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll just don't worry about it. If you have a stomach bug, I
Yeah,
don't want to get a stomach bug.
yeah.
You keep it with you.
I
We'll,
got stuff to
we'll
do.
yeah, we'll figure something else out." So I'm thinking, oh, she's either sick or got cold feet. That stuff happens. Sometimes dates
Yeah,
don't happen. And so, in the meantime, when the date didn't happen, I just started buying more gotcha. And then she texts me the day after and she goes, "Hey, I feel better now. Let's meet up again." And so we met up and she goes, "Were you upset with me that I had to cancel the other day?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Why not?" And I said, "Well, any money that I was going to spend on the date,
I
I
spent
was
on.
just pummeling into gotcha." So she's like, "You're kind of upset that I actually followed through." I'm like, "A little bit, because now I can't buy as many gotcha." But no, we had a lovely date. That being said, though, when I told her that, because it was kind of a huge joke, when I told her that, she was like, "You're serious? Like, you like the gotcha stuff?" I'm like, "Oh, I love them." She goes, "Let me take you to this place in Sunshine City, and it's the largest gotcha store in the world." Um, and I wouldn't have known about it if I didn't tell her
Wow.
that I was happy about gotcha. But dude, this store, I can't even describe to you how many gotcha machines are in there. Like it's unbelievable. It's overwhelming to the point where it's like you're looking and there's so many options for whatever you're looking for. Like they're like food items, then there are like animated, like live, like animal version food items. There's like idol stuff. There's movie tie-ins. There are cars, car like keychains, trains. Don't get me started on the train stuff. JR line stuff. Like it's overwhelming. It's ridiculous. It's stupid how many machines are in this place. Um, but if I didn't tell her that I was kind of upset with her for following through on the date, I would have never known about it. So it made for a really cool place for us to go together. And she showed it to me, and I was like, "Yo, this like really made my day. Like this is awesome." And
Yeah.
it was cool. And also, my birthday occurred while I was over there, and I remember, I turned 41. And I remember I told her randomly, like, this is a woman in Tokyo. We're hanging out a couple times. I don't expect her to do anything special for me. And I remember I just kind of randomly off, like, "Oh yeah, I said my birthday is coming up," and she goes, "Oh, is it this Saturday?" I said, "Yeah, it's coming up on Saturday or whatever." And so she's like, "You want to hang out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we can hang out." And so she came to Chiba out way up there to Disney, which was very nice of her. And she brought me a slice of birthday cake. And it was like the cake with like the green muscat grapes on it.
Yep.
And I just thought that was like the sweetest thing in the world. She didn't have to do that. I was telling her my birthday just because it was like conversation. But the fact that she went out of her way to buy me some cake, and she even brought me some candles. She was like, "Let's light them up." I'm like, "Not in the hotel room. We'll do it really fast." I'm like, "No, no, we're not lighting up candles in the hotel room." So, but we enjoyed the evening. It was very cool. We talked and walked around where the water was and things like that. And I ate my cake with the grapes on it. It was really sweet. Very, very wonderful lady, and I wish her the best. Yeah, she works in marketing. Very nice lady. Um, but the cake, I was like, "You brought me cake. Oh my god!" So that was very, very nice of her.
Love it, buddy. I love it. David, um, again, this is kind of like backwards or forwards or however you want to be, but they made it down to Fukuoka, and that place, him and his partner girlfriend, like they fell in love with it so much so that when they came back, they were starting to look at like apartments. They're like, man, like we could totally see ourselves moving there. And I'm like, cool. It's like an hour, maybe like I think it was like an hour by hour and a half drive, something like that. And train was, or like train's an hour, driving's like an hour and a half, whatever it is, but it was relatively close, like for going back and forth. And I'm like, that works. I could be in Hiroshima, you can be in Fukuoka. We just got to find out where Maurice is going to be, and we just got to keep this,
Yeah,
yeah,
Fukuoka's chill. Fukuoka's very chill. It's very south. It's very south. I think that whenever the JR line was like the last time it was affordable, I bought it and it was like a mad dash to go everywhere.
yeah,
Because I went to Sendai, I went to Kyoto, I went to Osaka, I went to Hiroshima, and I went to Fukuoka. Fukuoka was about as far south as I got because I think I only got the week pass. I didn't get the 2 week pass,
yeah.
and I was like, all right, I've gone all these places, but Fukuoka is so chill, and I want to say it's one of the few places in Japan that's not Tokyo where the population is growing. Fukuoka is so popular. Also, there's a huge foreigner community. There's a lot of Americans there. A lot of military people who decided to stay in Japan have also settled in Fukuoka. The food culture is great, like the little like food truck yatai. Like, oh man, Fukuoka's. Have you ever been there before?
See, it's been on my list stuff. We were supposed to go last time when I was there, and we haven't hit it. And I was just like, because we were supposed to go down and do like the SoftBank Hawks, like catch a baseball game, go to the mall that's there, and I've
Hmm.
wanted to go there since like Lost in Translation. You
Oh
know what I
man,
mean? Like so, because like that just that one comment is enough to where I need to go.
you're gonna love
But
it.
oh yeah, it's like when I go with my daughter, because we're going to be doing I think that's what I'm going to end up getting, like an RV for us, for part of it at least when we're by Hiroshima, because there's like some ferries that you can run over, and we're going to do like Megajima Island. We're going to be doing some stuff that's off, like way off, like what you would do like on a first or second trip of Japan. But we're also going to be hitting Tokyo and Osaka because of the aquarium. Like it's one of the, if not the top rated, one of the top three rated aquariums in the whole world. And even like people from Chicago, from the Shed, go there and are like in awe of it. And I'm like, this is, saying a lot. But so we're going to end up in Osaka. We'll go to Tokyo. We're going to end up in Hiroshima because I got to see my friends. One of my buddies there had his son. So he's been sending pictures of his son. And like, it's super cool because I'm like, okay, we could be there. Your son could be turning 2. Daughter could get to, meet them. I might could be cool. And he said, "Don't forget about me, though. Mike needs to, Uncle Mike needs to visit more than just my son. Uncle Mike needs to hang out with me too.
That's
So
great.
yeah, 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 but yeah, man, it's thankful, buddy. I'm thankful because this is, like I don't know. We all need things at different times, and you never know when that's going to be. And like I said, this transition to be at the school where I'm at has freed me up a lot to be more of who I am.
Hmm.
Not being in a really negative work environment is, I didn't realize how much it was impacting me. Like I knew,
Right.
but you don't, and then you realize how far from like who you are you moved from to survive.
Right.
Where you're at. So like being where I'm at now and like interacting with the kids and you know, all my jokes are new, Maurice. All my jokes are new for every kid that I come across, and it's so freeing that they haven't heard it for the last 13 years because like their siblings, came home and said my joke, and they're like, "Yeah, we heard this already, buddy." So
They're like,
um
wow, this Mike guy's hilarious.
that's right. That's right. Then they're like, me being into Japan is also new. So I've been sharing like hiragana with them. And I've been sharing like some of the Popeye magazine, like, like places to go, recommendations and things. And it's just been so nice. And I'll
Very
be
cool.
excited, buddy. I had like one part one of like the Okinawa day trip, drop. But I have a second part that I think it's definitely going to be longer. And I'm pretty excited to get out to you and to everyone that's kind of listening because it's been a lot of fun. But I found one for Kyoto. I found one for islands off of Japan. There's one for Tokyo. I'm super excited about all of it because it's just the amount of research that's in those isn't on the internet, right?
Hmm.
It's not, going to Google, going to their sites, you're not going to find out the stuff that's here. And it's just cool, like doing a bit of a theme where it's like normally I'm focused on places off the beaten path, but like, like you're saying, I've been doing this more than 4 years, every other week. So this is kind of nice for me, like kind of refreshing too, because it's just doing something different. And all these magazines and stuff that I'm coming through, like I can't get to Japan. I'm hoping to get there in 2 summers. It might be three, just because of like the two stuff, and you just, 4 grand's a lot of money for anybody. So I'm gonna still do everything I can to try to make it happen. In 2 summers. But like these magazines have been that like you know connection, you know what I mean, like
Hmm.
with there in a different way. And I've been enjoying it, so I look forward to sharing it, buddy. But
Right on.
i I am super happy that you hopped on with me tonight, my friend. Do you have like more than anything else that you want to share beyond? You got to tell me what the gotcha place is so I can pass that on to Sam, and also save it into my maps myself in the Google Maps,
The
because
big so in Ikebukuro, because Sunshine City is in Ikebukuro as well. There is one place that has 500 on the first floor and I think 1,000 in the basement.
okay.
That's called like Gotcha Co. or something like that. It's right beside a big camera. It's right beside big camera, and that's like on street level. That's on the street level. But the biggest one, the big Gotcha store, is inside the Sunshine City building, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And it's like a giant mall, and then you just go on one of the floors. I forget which floor it is. It just opens up, and it's just like Gotcha, literally everywhere. Like it's overwhelming. Like it's too many Gotcha. Um, if I would say that, well, it's like, was it paralysis by choice or whatever? If you're someone that
100%.
has trouble with that, don't go there.
We may
uh,
skip that. My daughter and I, that's like
yeah,
we may
I,
skip that, but Sam would love, like he would
oh
absolutely love
man,
that, man. Like I
I I really think that if I were to do this again right now, go right back, I would take about 30,000 yen and just go blow it on Gotcha.
but that's a book, buddy. I mean, like, because you could have like it's 100% a book, and you could shoot like the like what you're like all those different things that you're doing, in that area that you're doing, and 100%, man. That yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
because I think that 30,000 yen is like $200 now.
Yeah.
$200, something like that, and then each gotcha range between 300 and 400 yen a piece. Oh yeah, man. Just like $200 on gotcha would be delightful. Delightful. Just you come back with a wide array and just it would just be awesome. Just
And
super cool. Super
well, like
super
story,
cool.
you could say, like, tell, you could show all the gotcha for that hotel, and show the one, bed. Uh, you know what I mean, buddy. You know, you know,
Let me see if I can show it to you. Let me show you if I can show it to you real quick. Hold
it's all like, and at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Sunshine City.
on.
Maurice, I was gonna try to have you send it to me, and then like us say, hey, if you want to know where this place was, go on Patreon, and you can, help fund Maurice's book and my next trip.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bro, I don't even see that. That's the bed.
that is awesome, my
It's the
man. That is
bed and the
so cool.
dresser with the TV on it. This, and then here's this one. Here's the couch with the little table on a
Oh,
dresser.
buddy.
They're so cute.
I love it, man. I love it. This is like, hey, even though we didn't celebrate your birthday, sending the movies to you, let's say that's close enough, my friend.
No, that is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so
it,
much
it,
for
it,
that.
and I'm hopeful. I'll be interested what you think about them, because they're both different. Like, I'll leave it at that. But it's
I
it's
like that.
not, it's not what you'd expect. It has things in it that I don't want to talk. You watch it. We'll talk about it. Kind of go from there. And that's it, buddy. But no, thank you for hopping on, my friend.
Of
This, like I
course.
said, we're gonna, this has been good. Whenever we can hang out, and man, just a couple of those pictures, amazing, amazing. So, Hey, I'm gonna let Maurice go. He's got a night. He's already ahead of me. I'm gonna edit this tonight and get it out for tomorrow. So a little behind the scenes when you're gonna hear David and I's episode, and it's gonna sound like we're talking about Maurice's upcoming show potentially. Just gonna be out of order because David and I were talking for about an hour and a half, and we
Mhm.
still had more to cover. And I'm like, buddy, I'm gonna need to cut this to go to bed, like I said earlier. So, like I need to, I met with my dad today, my sister. They're still in town. We watched the Bears, win a game, the Cubs, and then made it back to hang out with you. So I appreciate you moving things back a little bit. But no, that's it, my friend. Please, if you're in North Carolina or someone with a lot of money that just wants to go see a cool photo exhibit and potentially buy some amazing artwork, you know where to go now. You have
Mhm.
plans this Friday, and then Saturday, go see Perfect Blue. So, like go make this whole thing, and then you can roll in. Thank us later. So on behalf of everyone from Lost Without Japan, we'd like to thank you for joining us both today, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next regularly scheduled episode as we continue our discussion on Japan, travel, culture, and your lost without moments. And, hey, we'll see like a bit of a Patreon drive, here if you made it all the way to this point in time, thinking about after I'm done with these magazines in our day trip talks, of potentially mailing those off to people that are a part of that Patreon at whatever level that you are, just as like a thank you for listening, engaging in the show in that way, and saving you from having to spend like $50 to get the magazine after you do shipping and tariffs
Oh
now.
yeah.
If you don't have a Japanese bookstore nearby you and it was used by the show, that's got to be make it worth at least the Bill Murray level of things. I forget, the New York bar level of the Patreon. But no, my friends, like regardless, if it's the $0 joining in there, interacting and stuff, I appreciate it. But that could be something. So thank you all, to everyone out there. Oginki Day, stay well, my friends, and remember, the the more that you promote Maurice, the more lenses and cameras he gets to buy, and the more cool shit we get to see. You know what to do. Later, everybody. Bye.